Hey, these brothers, I want to talk about something this morning, man. And the reason I want to talk about this particular thing, man, simply is because I don't think a lot of people understand what the world is doing or has done yet. Like, I don't think people understand the level of competition that the world has put every single person in. And I understand now that with the world, what the world has done with like technology and the invention of the internet, I don't think people understand what it's done. Because if you look at the complete span of time, the last 24, 27 years by far had, in my opinion, has been the most or the era that has separated people. Like, and what I mean by that is now you can see people that are common men, as you know, compared to people that are moving in life. And there's competition. Like for example, real quick, 30 years ago, when you applied for a burger flipping job down the street from yourself, it was just you and a few people in your city and maybe one or two from the next city over. Now people from the other side of the globe that want to move to your city from overseas are applying for that same minimum wage job. So the competition is rampant, even when it comes to women. It used to be, you know what, you saw the girl working at the skating rink, you went down there, it was just you and a couple of partners that want to holler at her. But now you got Jody from Tampa or California or Michigan or Cape Town that's still trying to holler at your girl. So competition in all areas, man, is just so far and stretched wide. So saying that, I'm saying, if you're still moving like the ranks, you know, moving within the ranks of common men, brother, your life is going to be a challenge. Your income, the women in your life, and everything else in your life is going to be a challenge, whether you want it to be or not. So what I want to talk about today, man, is you can't attract what you don't align with. You seeing everybody else moving. You see everybody else leveling up. You see everybody else, you know, building whatever. Getting different type of people in life, and you sitting there just twiddling your thumbs saying, why does the world hate me? Why does God not show me favor? Why don't women like me? I'm a good dude. Whether we want to accept it or not, man, you have to start at today's time. You got to separate yourself from the pack. And again, all I'm saying is you can't attract what you don't align with. What say you, soul? What are you talking about, brother? I'm going to tell you what I did, man, some years ago. Man, I couldn't tell you when this was. I just spent a few moments of life, a few days, weeks, months, I don't know, just analyzing the messenger, right? Jesus. Because when I say the messenger, some of y'all get, I just spent some time analyzing the messenger. And I'm just thumbing through the Bible, watching how the messenger moved. I'm watching how the messenger spoke, how he fellowship with his brothers. But the main thing I was looking at was how he was giving people advice or guidance when they came his way, right? In other words, somebody might come to the messenger and say, hey, you know what, I'm sick, or this right here is happening, or my coins are low, or, you know, my life is doing this, oh, my situation is doing that. It was like the messenger had the same solution to every single problem. And that solution was to go and be. Go and be ye healed. Go and transform your mind. Go and do X, Y, Z. That was the answer to every problem. So I just sit back and analyze that, man. I say, you know what, bro? If I want to elevate in life, if I want to separate, see, it's not even about separating yourself from the pack, because it ain't about no competition. If I want to separate myself from the older versions of me, I gotta go and be, bro. So the most important thing a man must know in today's time, man, is that it's all about movement and mental state. Everything surrounds your movement and mental state. So what that means, brother, is you have to be about that action. If you aren't about action in today's times, you're going to remain amongst common men. Your income will never rise. The women that you see everybody else getting with all these cute women on the gram in the book, you will never have access to them because you aren't a man of action. But you got to incorporate action, and action isn't necessarily moving the mountain on day one. Action is simply what it is, movement. Like in a singular truth. In a singular truth, I gave the scenario I just gave a scenario of a man that wanted to level up. For y'all that read it, I don't want to be a complete spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't read it. But in general, the scenario was, I said, there's a man. He's living in a small apartment. He has a wife. He has 2 kids. You know, the crime rate is doing something around him. He don't want to let his kids go outside and play because it's dangerous. His money is check to check. Like, this is his life. And this is the life of a lot of people. So I said, in order for that man to get out of that situation, the first thing he must do is not go apply for a job, not go do all of these big things of action. The first thing he has to do is expose himself to something different. I'm gonna tell you this, man. A lot of times when I'm talking about motion and movement, it's simply exposing yourself to something different. I said, instead of that man getting off work and taking the same route home, that man gets off work, takes the scenic route. I said, this man takes the route that he would normally go when he takes his wife out to the nice restaurants. I said, this man is driving in this area. I said, he can see the rooftops over the tall brick wall of these bigger houses. And the man turns up in there and explores this for the first time in his life. I said, he lets his windows down. He smells the grass being cut. He's overhearing the conversation between people in the driveway talking. He's absorbing a whole new frequency. The first step, man, is just simply putting yourself in a different atmosphere, in a different energetic field. Because I'll be honest, a lot of times it's not even about spending a lot of money, because a lot of times you might be saying, oh, well, I can't just go, hop on a plane and go climb the pyramids. I can't go to Bahamas and feel that freedom. I can't go to Africa and Mexico and experience something different. But a lot of times it's simply you just driving to the next city. It's simply you driving to a different part of the city. A lot of times it's a simple decision, it's a simple decision like, okay, instead of me going to Applebee's or Chili's and getting that 2 for $20, let me go to Dakota Steakhouse. Let me go to Ocean Prime. And instead of spending $20 on a burger and fries and drinks and desserts and appetizers and all that stuff, let me go and get me a glass of water and an appetizer just to be in this energetic field. Let me see how people are conducting themselves in this field. Let me see how the waiters and waitresses are conducting themselves as opposed to where I'm used to going. Let me see how people are dressed. Let me see how they're conducting themselves here. Ain't nobody twerking on the table here. Ain't nobody fighting. I don't feel fear here. So the first part of movement, man, is simply putting yourself in a different environment. But at the same time, sometimes at some point you gotta pull the trigger on that thing, man. At some point, that thing that you're vibrating with now, at some point you got to say, okay, now let me call a play. In other words, at some point, you got to go in and explore brick and mortars and open them up to start that barbershop or salon. You got to start that YouTube channel, even if you don't have any content to put out. You got to go in and start the channel and create a banner and put an avatar on there and put what your channel is going to be about. Movement, man. Movement. Action. That's instantly gonna separate you from the pack, bro. Instantly gonna separate you from the pack. Movement. But then it comes down to mindset, brothers. Then it comes down to what mental state you're operating from. Because you got to understand this. What you're receiving in life is simply based on the mental state you're operating from. Oh, no, so that ain't true. Because the president is doing this, the price of gas is doing this, my water bill is doing this, and I grew up on this side of the tracks. And no, so what you saying is false, man. You make it sound like it's so easy, man. But man, I got people against me, man. I'm a black man. I grew up in a third world country. I'm an Asian man. I'm a white man. I can't. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. the world you're experiencing is simply built by the mental state you're operating from. Which means when you look in the mirror, what you see is what you get. The energetic field, the state that you're walking in, is what you are. And everybody has a state. You might walk around and see 100,000 people throughout the day in the city. You might go to the mall and see a lot of people walking around. If you're plugged into self, you can sit back and look at the energetic state of everybody in the room. You can look past the dirty jeans and the straight white t-shirts and the dirty tennis shoes, and you can see the men that are probably millionaires walking around you. You can see the brothers with the shiny belts and the crispy fades and the new J's that just came out. And if you're plugged in, you can see that these brothers are actually living from a state of abundance. So I'm not talking about physical appearance, bro. I'm talking about the state you're walking in. That's what's creating the world. The state you're walking in, man. So it comes back down to the question I'm always asking. Who are you? Where are you going? What is your truth? That's going to determine what you experience, bro. That's going to determine what you experience, because that's what's creating. I know one thing that brothers in a circle do, a lot of brothers in a circle do, is because we had this kind of talk on a regular basis. This, who are you? Like, you got to remind yourself, who are you, man? A lot of brothers set reminders and timers on their phone to go off, maybe to go off at 12 noon, maybe to go off 2 or 3 times a day, maybe to go off every hour to remind you, hey, remember, or send you a picture of something like, hey, remember, this is the journey. This is where we're going. Because you got to understand this, man. The world at every moment's notice, the television, the radio, the people at work, everybody in the old world is constantly telling you who you are. So you might can vibrate on the weekend. You might can come out for a 3-day weekend, man. You've been watching YouTube. You done read a singular truth. And you come out saying, man, I'm about to be this being. And you step into work, shoulders high. Within 10 minutes, somebody gonna challenge that. Somebody gonna challenge that. On a subconscious, energetic level, something in this world is gonna challenge your new identity. It's the way the world works. So it's all about you remaining on that square. It's all about you remaining in that mental state, bro, because that's what's creating everything. And again, if you're tapped in, you can see it. I can go to the grocery store, man, and I can see some of the people, man, that are dang near ready to delete themselves. I can see the people, man, that really don't have a lot, but they're vibrating on cloud 9. And I can say, you know what? If I just happen to run across that person in another 3 months or 6 months, I know their world is going to be doing something different than it's doing now, because they're vibrating. And when you vibrate in a certain frequency, your life is steadily expanding. God mode, brothers. It's God mode. So just understand, man, that the most important things that you can do, man, is be aware that you need to be moving and be aware of your mental state, bro. That automatically is going to separate you from the pack. But the thing is this, and I believe this is the reason why a lot of people don't move and get in the right mindset. Like, I believe a lot of people are scared to crash out, man. And I get it. But because I can remember when I was in that state, a lot of people are scared to do the thing because they're scared to crash out. Because I'm gonna tell you this, moving as forward moving men. Oh, you're gonna take some L's. Oh, you're gonna do some things where people can sit back and laugh at you. It's bound to happen. But you gotta understand, the people that are laughing are the people in the bleachers. They aren't moving. You got to be willing to crash out, bro. You know how many projects I've built or projects I've started that I'm going, and then I realize, oh, snap, like I had it all wrong. I got to recalibrate myself and keep on going. I'm sure people see me starting certain pages or doing certain things and say, oh, man, so look at so he done dropped the ball. Soul gives 0 because I'm forward moving. I understand now that I'm no longer in the ranks of the common man, strictly because I'm traveling. I'm traveling in life, bro. You got to be a traveler, man. And you can't be scared to crash out, man, because at the end of the day, when the game is all said and done, you're going to have two types of people. Meaning, when it's time to transition from this life, you're going to have you have people in one of two energies. You're going to have people going into those last few minutes in a state of, I did the damn thing. Or you're going to have a lot of people in a state of, dang, did I really live? Did I really live? It's kind of like going to an amusement park, right? I'm sure some of y'all got amusement parks by you. Right here in Dallas, we got Six Flags, right? It's like when you see little kids leaving Six Flags, right? You got some young kids, man, that are leaving Six Flags, and you can tell that their entire time in that realm, they lived in fear. In other words, you can see the little kids, man, when they're walking out, they're holding their parents' hand and they're looking over their shoulders. They're looking back at the Texas Giant. They're looking at the Superman saying, dang, I wish I would have tried it. I was scared. I wish I would have rode that big roller coaster. I wish I would have played more games here. But now I'm just walking out. I done been at Six Flags all day. And now I'm walking out sad. That's how a lot of people gonna live life. They're gonna be dying saying, man, I could have did all this stuff. Now I'm 90 years old. Now I'm 100 years old transitioning and I'm sad. Or you got the kids that are leaving Six Flags and they walking out the gate, man, they got rubber duckies, they got stuffed bears, and they dang near asleep. Their parents got to pretty much carry them out because they done went ham all day. They done rode everything 2 or 3 times. They done played all the games, done won all the prizes. And they done went so hard, man, that as they transitioned to the outer gates of Six Flags, they pretty much just tapped out. That's how I'm going to live, bro. That's how I'm going to live. It's 2 choices, man. When you leave this planet, you need to be tapped out. It needs to be to the point, man, where the good Lord got to drag you out the gates. You dragging the trophies with you, man. You dragging the accomplishments. You dragging the beautiful women and the beautiful things you've accomplished simply by going hard in life. That's how you got to leave. That's how you got to leave this place, brothers. But at the end of the day, man, it all comes down to what I was talking about. It all comes down to movement. It all comes down to mental state. So separate yourselves, brothers, from the ranks of common men and incorporate those things, man. Hey, if you want to learn more about movement and mental state, man, I want you to check out this video. I'll leave it in the box to click on the next video and subscribe to my new channel about how I transition from being an employee state to becoming an entrepreneur, because I had to embody this whole thing I was talking about. So check that video out and be sure to subscribe to my new channel, brothers.